Hi YouTube, and this is JTrain997, and I'm back this time with my review of the A-Team electronic A-Team van. Of course, get a look at this in packaging. Of course, it says lights and sounds, fits most 3¼ inch figures, opening doors, requires 2 AA batteries that are not included. Of course, they always put that in the smallest print right here at the bottom, where you don't know that until you get it home. Of course, over here you have a picture of b.a.a. Baracus. Of course, on the side of the packaging here. Of course, there's no real read-up or anything like that. Surprisingly little on the packaging. But on the back here it says, plays quotes from the movie, lights up. Then it says, plays quotes from the movies again on the back. Plays sound effects, and opening doors. So, not exactly sure what button you would hit. I don't see buttons at all. So hopefully there's some instructions or something in here. But when I found these in stores, I actually had to go through pretty much all of them to find one that was mint. Because one packaging, one of them I looked at, like one of the interior seats had fallen off. One of them, one of the doors had fallen off, and another had just completely come loose inside packaging and was rattling around. Out of probably 5 or 6 that were on the shelf, there were probably 2 mint ones, which was unfortunate. So there seems to be a real problem in shipping these. But that being said, let's pull this out of packaging. And here we have the electronic A-Team van. I've got to say though, putting the batteries in, as you can see down here, that screw was an absolute nightmare. One slip and it stripped the screw instantly, and it took me forever to get that thing off. So I'm actually going to leave it off, just in case I put it back in, I can't get it off again, so, you know, small price to pay. As you can see up here, the side door does like to come off. You simply, the way the peg is designed, you just kind of drop it in here. Then you can just slide it back, but if you slide it back too far, the door instantly falls off, which is kind of disappointing. I was hoping for a, better connection, but oh well. Of course, you can close the door. Just pop it in right here. Well, it was closing a second ago. There we go. Of course, that is actually the only side that opens. Over here. It's just a solid piece. Of course, some very nice. Oh, just popped off again, as you can see there. Some very nice detail. Even though I had a small issue with the door and the hinge on the screw. As you can see, even down to the license plate, it's got some detail on it. It's really unfortunate that we didn't have like the back opening up or anything like that, because I'm pulling this door off here. You can see like there's an interior, and then it's just this whole back space is just unutilized space, which is unfortunate. But the front doors do open, as you can see here. And there's actually some pretty nice detail on the interior, although it is all sort of a primer gray or white. As you can see, there's some detail on the dash, steering wheel, even the cup holders, as you can see in there. So disappointing that we didn't get some more paint, or we didn't get just some more opening doors in general. 2 front passenger doors in the back one, and nothing on the back of the van, which I think could have easily stored some stuff back here. But there's only 1 switch for lights and sound. I thought there'd be 2. It's a little button over here. You press this and, oops, sorry, camera tilted over. Of course, you press this back button and you might be able to tell the light effect a little bit better with the cameras, the light turned off. So that's all the sounds the A-Team electronic van makes. Also, if I didn't mention, it has a little sunroof where you can see the figures you put inside here. Unfortunate, the sound effects just we got a random explosion, and we didn't get I Pity the Fool, we didn't get, I Love It When a Plan Comes Together. Seems like they definitely should have put, the more popular catchphrases on there instead of just random explosion and stuff like that. But that being said, let's actually get a size comparison out here, and then we'll get a look at all the A-Team members in the van. It's actually pretty big compared to the other figures. A little too big, actually. He's dwarfed by the size of this van. I mean, I guess that's necessary evil to make sure they fit in there smoothly and it's not, a pain, but still, massive size. That being said, let's actually get a look at all the A-Team members in the van. And here we have the A-Team van with all 4 members of the A-Team in there. You can see B.a.a and Hannibal in the front seat there. While you've got a decent look at the people in the front seat when you have the figures in here, as well as, the roof view, the guys in the back are just kind of screwed. I mean, unless you open the door, you're not going to have any idea these guys are back here. Once again, that door falls off. And there's no real way that they can stay in the seats. Like, B.a.a up in the front has his hands on the wheel, but back here, the slightest movement is going to throw these guys out of the seat. So I would have liked to seen a peg, something to keep these guys in. And Face's jacket design really keeps his legs from bending all that fantastically. So putting the guys in the back of the van in general is just a pain. Let's get him in here really quick. Of course, I guess you can just keep the door open so you can see these guys. So that being said, the A-Team van will run you $25. Now, it's a very nice looking vessel on the outside. There's a lot of nice detail that went in there. But this van does have some problems. Just kind of random sound effects with no real decent movie quotes. The door falls off a lot. The figures, if you want to close the door, you're not going to be able... Well, that's really not fair of me to complain about that. I mean, in real life, you would have no idea these people were back here, so... I just would have liked to see more in general. It just seems like a very plain release. The detail on the outside is fantastic, but on the interior, everything's a primer gray, or as far as the dash, almost more of a primer white. The figures really don't connect to the seats all that well. You can see Hannibal rattling around in the front there, or I guess you can barely see it. Just some little extra details like the back opening up, and even if there was nothing back there, just the simple fact of the back opening up could have done a lot. So if you're going to go ahead and get the A-Team figures, I think it'd be better to have them all posed along the outside, which is what I'll probably end up doing, but you'll probably end up getting the A-Team van as well, and it's not a bad toy. It's just, there could have been so much done with this, and they did so little. Overall, outside detail is fantastic. The little gimmick of the explosion sound effects and the 2 quotes are kind of, they're just kind of pointless. I mean, the lights in the front aren't that bright. Overall, if you're going to get the figures, I'd say get the van. If not, pass. But that being said, this is J-Train 997, and I'll see you soon, YouTube.